Okay, going into my territory because, as you all know, Ireneaous is my man. So, Christian Shrug, Yusuf, you were very smart, but I want to mention the case of Pope Victor. Around the year 190, ordering local synod to be held all over to settle the date of Pascha, Easter. Um, I realize the West says Easter. Okay. Um, there are other examples, but they are covered in many books on the primacy of Saint Peter. So I will not repeat them here. I will say one of the reasons that the primacy of jurisdiction of the popes wasn't emphasized quite as much in the early church as it was later on, even though it certainly existed, because it was obviously more difficult at the time for the popes to step into controversy in far off places due to the difficulties of travel and communication, as far off places which existed prior to the invention of the modern means of travel and communication. It was obviously not as easy for the Bishop of Rome to settle controversies in distant lands or dioceses. That's why examples of this type of intervention were less frequent. Um, even though they existed. For the same reason, the role of local bishops and patriarchs in the early church were especially important at that period in putting down heresies and handling controversies that arose in their localities. However, here's a quote from St. Irenaeus, which expresses the authentic and original truth on this issue. The Church of Rome had primacy jurisdiction from the beginning. Yusuf, we are not Protestants. I am in the Abbey of New Clairvaux, Vina, California. Please refrain from calling us Protestants. Um, well, you didn't give the quote from St. Irenaeus. St. Irenaeus actually challenged Victor and told Victor, you're not allowed to um, excommunicate the Quarter-Medicians. The Quarter-Medicians, um, which which celebrated Easter on the 14th of Nisan, he said, I lived with these people in Anatolia. Um, they're not heretics by any means. And there was no set date for Pascha/Easter. There wasn't. It was actually at the authority, it was actually settled. That was one of the main things that was settled at Nicaea, was the date of Pascha. Um, in fact, in Ireland, um, I recently found this out from a traditionalist Catholic. Uh, each county had their different date of Easter, or Pascha, and they also had a different date for Christmas. So, um, refrain from calling you Protestants. Yusuf, it hurt me when you called Rome the first Protestants. Well, they did break away from all the other ancient sees. Um, tell you what, I will refrain from calling the Roman Catholic Church the first Protestant church. Um, if you refrain from saying that I'm in league with the devil and acting as if we don't pour buckets of blood in the ground to defend the Nicene Creed. It's almost as if from your past comments, I mean, you said about the Nicene Creed that that the Roman Catholics respect it and that it's everything, and that even the Episcopalians, um, you know, have respect for it. Nobody respects the Nicene Creed more than the Eastern Orthodox. That's why we opposed the adding of the filioque in there. And it seems that you missed my video on Gregory Nazianzus and the Council of Nicaea. Was St. Gregory Nazianzus wrong about St. Athanasius of Alexandria? And was the sixth canon of Nicaea incorrect? The Niceo-Constantinopolitan Creed is recited more in the Eastern Orthodox Church than in any other church, and it's what is said as we're being martyred by the Muslims. In fact, did I tell you the story of Peter the Aleut, where he was reciting the Nicene Creed as the Spanish Catholics were torturing him to death? So why did Ireneaous go after Victor so hard? Say, don't you dare excommunicate the Quarter-Medessians for celebrating Pascha on the 14th of Nisan. Why did Tertullian viciously go after the Bishop of Rome? Why did Cyprian, church doctor, state that all bishops are equal and the Bishop of Rome has no jurisdiction in Carthage? He has no jurisdiction outside of Rome. And Pope Stephen, who I like, who's one of my favorite popes, didn't say, no, I have jurisdiction all over the West, or even all over the world. But he never said that. Oh, his response was, that may be, but you're still wrong. And I think Cyprian was still wrong. I think he was a Donatist or a semi-Donatist. But yeah, that comment about the Nicene Creed, that that somehow it's more important to the Catholics, even though the Roman Catholic Church changed it. And the Episcopalians actually changed it again by having gender neutral things. They say God, our Father and Mother. And they say the Holy Spirit, He, she, when they're talking about the Holy Spirit. So we recite the Nicene Creed 3 times a day in our daily prayers. And we recite it every liturgy, every vespers, every presanctified. So, yeah. So if we could just agree on that, I'll refrain from saying that Rome is the first Protestant um, church, since you had Church of Rome break off from every single other church in the world, and then a few hundred years later you had a multitude of church. You had four churches break off from the Church of Rome, and then you had a multitude of churches break off from all of those churches, and then breaking off from those, and then breaking off of those, and then breaking off of those. And then even within the Roman Catholic Church, you have the Palmarians, you have about 7 different sects of sedevacantists. But I won't call the Roman Catholic Church the first Protestant church anymore. I'll show you that respect if you would show the common decency and respect of not calling me a devil worshiper in league with the devil and denying the love that the Eastern Orthodox have for the Nicene Creed. And I encourage you to listen or read what St. Gregory Nazianzus had to say about Athanasius of Alexandria and the sixth canon of the Council of Nicaea. Peace to you.